couple of years down the road, you are on a you're on like your lunch break at work.
Okay.
You're
What am
hanging
I doing?
out. You're a stuntman.
A stuntman, Pat?
Yeah, a few years down the road, you get really into stunt work.
That's like the furthest thing I from me. I don't want any part of that shit.
So, yeah, this is a few years down the road, keep in mind. The reason that you became a stuntman is you were kind of, uh, hanging out. You went to a Chinese restaurant called the China Zone. You go to the China Zone for to get some Chinese food. Sit down. Service is as impeccable as it always is. And at the end, they're like, you pay your bill and stuff. Um, the waiter is this girl, Sue. She is like the daughter of the owners. She's like, all right,
Okay.
well, thanks, Mr. Brooks. Have a good one. Yins have a good one. She wa
Yins?
Yeah, she's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So she starts to walk away, and you go, "Oh, miss." She turns around. She's like, "Oh, anything else you need?" And you're like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be this guy, but I didn't actually get a fortune cookie." And she was like, "Oh, sorry about that." And then she looks at you and she goes, "Don't worry, Mr. Brooks. I'll give you a good one." She winks at you.
What the fuck?
She goes to the kitchen, uh, and like emerges about, I don't know, 30 seconds later, and she's just holding what looks like a regular fortune cookie. She like puts it, drops it in front of you. She's like, "Bon appetit, mi amigo."
It's a very confusing place.
She's like, "Yins come back, you hear?" She walks away. And so you look down at the fortune cookie, and you open it up. You want to see what your fortune is.
Sure.
You look down at you know, the broken in half fortune cookie in your hot little hand. You look down at it and you kind of like go, huh. When you were growing up, you had a precious family vase. And your it comes on from your mom's side of the family. The vase was like sculpted or whatever on the very on July 4th, 1776. So it's like it's
It's a
always
patriotic
been
base.
a very patriotic vase. It's actually at some point someone painted the American flag on it.
Who, fucking Betsy Ross?
Yeah, I mean, one of your ancestors, I guess. And so you and your brother got into like a huge argument about it, where you were like, "It's pronounced vase," and he's like, "It's pronounced vase." And you guys just like started strangling each other, as kids do. But then you bumped into the
Yeah, as kids do, arguing over the pronunciation of ceramics in our home. Are you fucking kidding me?
well, there wasn't a lot to do, so arguing was kind of a thing, fill the time, whatever. So you guys actually like bumped into the vase like the table that it was on, and it
Yeah.
fell and like cracked, and you saw the inside of the vase, even though the outside has been like fully painted at this point. The inside of the vase is like a kind of like a brownish orange kind of tint. It's the first time you've ever seen a color that looked like that. And the fortune cookie that you just cracked open is the exact same color as the inside of that vase that you cracked oh so many years ago. So
Great.
you're like that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's
So
real fucking weird.
you eat the cookie. It's kind of, just tastes the way they normally taste, And you look down and in the fortune, it just says, "Become a stunt man, Aaron."
What an explicit and personal fortune.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of the good ones. Remember, she was like, she felt bad that you didn't get your fortune cookie, and she's like, I'm in the service industry, hon. I gotta, take care of my customers, and so she got you a good one, and you kind of
Sucks
like
so bad.
you look down at it, and you
Fucking
look up
stunt
it,
man.
and you catch the eye of Sue, the waitress, and she kind of like nods gravely at you, and you're like, all right. So you go home that night, and you're like, that's so ridiculous. Like, because the whole time you're driving home, you're like, why would I be a stuntman? I don't. That's not
Yeah.
something that I would ever want to do.
Why?
And but it just kind of there's something about it. It just stuck in your like subconsciousness, where you would just think about stuntmen and stunts all day long. And sometimes not even be aware that you were doing it. You'd be hanging out talking to your friends and like you guys be having a conversation about something and then they'd be like, what are you doing? And you go like, huh? And you look down and this whole time you've been like just like drawing, you know, and you weren't even aware that you were doing it and you were
So
drawing like
I'm into
a
this on a
stunt.
subconscious level.
Yeah, that you're drawing like stunts and you don't even realize you're doing it.
Drawing stunts. What a fucking stupid phrase.
But
What a
it's hey,
dumb
you're
combination of two ideas. Drawing stunt. I'm sketching out
yeah.
stunts. Just
Yeah.
like a beautiful mind, like subconscious from my subconscious while I'm like listening or talking to somebody else.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And so you're like, man, I can't stop, thinking about this. And so you end up there's like a local stuntman school in Los Angeles, and it's called Stunts Are Us. And they teach you how to be a stuntman. And their big claim to fame is that like they've had some very notable stunt workers come out of that school.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was this guy, um, his name was Charles I. Chargeman. The I stands for Invictus.
Is Charles Invictus? Charles and Pat,
Charles,
Charles Charles in charge. Is this a Charles in charge bit? Charles Invictus Chargeman? Are you doing a fucking Charles in charge bit?
that was just his name. And so
Charles Invictus Chargeman?
yeah, he won Stuntman of the Year 15 years in a row before he was like, he just, politely bowed out of it, He actually won a Grammy for Best Stunt. That's how good of a stuntman
A
this guy is.
Grammy?
Yeah. He's, he's no longer, well, I was going to say he's no longer with us, but when I say that, I don't mean he's dead. He just sort of has dropped out of sight.
He's a non-practicing stuntman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go down to Stunts R Us and you walk in and, the guy's working there. Um, the guy who owns the place is named, his name is Lincoln Cold, Kold. Lincoln
Lincoln
Cold.
Cold.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
He sits down with you and he's like talking to you and he's like, so like, how long have you wanted to be a stuntman for? And you're like, I got to be honest with you, man. It's kind of like a recent thing. And you go, it's not like I grew up like idolizing stunt guys. You know what I mean? It's just that, and you kind of like look embarrassed. It's just, I feel like, and he looks at you and he goes, like it's calling to you. And you're like, yeah. And he goes, that's the call of the stunt man, my friend.
I don't
We've
like
all had
this.
it. Every single stunt man, uh, you ask them, why'd you get into it? And so everyone has a different origin story, but they all have one thing in common, even if they don't, reveal that publicly or even admit it to themselves, frankly. Stuntmen feel like there is, like, it's a literal calling. They feel like stunts itself call out to them the
I
way that,
imagine that's probably pretty accurate. If you're gonna like
yeah,
put yourself, like knowingly put yourself through that kind of like physical rigor, you'd
yeah,
probably have to feel compelled to do it.
yeah. And he's like, that's what you're feeling right now, Aaron. That's why you can't stop thinking about it, dreaming about it, drawing about it. You told him about all that stuff. And he's like, Aaron, welcome. Welcome to the Stuntmen Brotherhood.
God
You
damn
got
it.
you guys embrace.
I don't want to.
So the thing is that you like basically fell ass backwards into this, but you start getting really into it.
I'm into this.
Yeah. The trainers there, they're good guys. They want to make sure that, they make it very clear that they're here to make you guys safe. You're here to make, the actors look good, but I'm here to take care of you.
Okay.
And so you just put your trust into these guys. It's taught by these two twins, the twin stuntmen. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they're called.
Like
It's
identical twins.
yeah, identical twins. They're named Henry Tank and Brendan Tank, but they go by Hank Tank and B Dazzle. Hank Tank and B Dazzle Tank, the Tank brothers, Tank
Oh,
twins.
Pat. The tank twins.
Yeah, and they care about you, man, and they're great teachers. And I got to be honest with you, Aaron, you fucking there's something about stunt work that somehow just agrees with you. The tanks are like,
Great.
man, you guys are everyone's doing great, but Aaron, we've never seen anyone adjust to this so quickly. They're like, hey, maybe we got another chargeman here. They laugh.
Charlton Victus Chargeman.
Yep. So
So fucking stupid. You kidding
so
me?
you were like you're like a working stuntman at this point. This is a few years
Oh,
down the road.
man.
So you're doing stunts and you're doing all kinds, dude. It does not matter. You do the only thing you don't do is surfing stunts. You tried it once and like you pulled it off, but you were like never again because you pulled the stunt off. The stunt was just like a really simple thing where you fall off of uh a surfboard,
Surfboard.
That's all it was. But and you pull it off like it's a really good shot too. Um the cameraman is this guy. He is like a multi Emmy winning camera guy, Jim Thorpeman. And
Yeah.
he gets that shot like he actually like is surfing next to you guys. He learned to surf just to get this shot. That's how it like dedicated of a cameraman this
Sportsman.
guy is. Yeah. And he surfs next to you guys. He gets the shot. It ends up winning him another Emmy. And so you
Okay.
fall off, and then you're just like, okay, whatever. And then you're chased by a shark for like a mile. You just like had to swim.
How the fuck this I fall off this board a mile offshore?
No, you just
I
panic.
just
So instead of going to shore, you just like went like, parallel to it. So you just like turned to your left and were like, you were so like panicked that you just like swam furiously. Because
and I
the
outswam a
shark,
shark.
well, the shark could have killed you. It was just fucking with you.
Great.
It
This
came up.
sucks. I meet a
So
menacing shark.
yeah. And so, you are just, you call it the stunt life. Did you pick the stunt life? No, not really. Just like every other stuntman out there, it shows you.
Great. How good is that?
You're hanging out, you're getting lunch. Your coworkers are pretty cool guys, you know. Uh, there's a guy there named Juan Francois. He's another stunt guy. Um,
Juan
there's
Francois.
mhm. There's a woman who works there, Becky Timberlake dash um, Thunderkiss.
I
Becky Timberlake Thunderkiss. That's like her stage name. Her real name is
nobody stuntmen don't have stage names. Their entire purpose is to protect the identity of the person they're stunting for and like maintain suspension of disbelief. Like they're not people aren't like, oh shit, this is a Becky Timberlake Thunderkiss stunt. Nobody that's never happened in the history of stunts.
so stunts at this point in time have made a big comeback as far as the
That
public, you know, perception goes. They are very much a part of the zeitgeist. People, because these are people who, it's a niche audience at first, but it became big enough that now people go to movies specifically to see the stunts. So look up the stuntmen that are going to be in the movie. So like the latest James Bond that comes out, yeah, obviously more people are there to see James Bond, but there is a sizable and very loud, in terms of like, their online presence, segment of the population that is there for the stuntmen, baby.
this sucks.
Becky's real name is just Becky Smith. There's a guy you work with. You guys all just call him Mysterious Chris because he works there with you guys. He's a stuntman rather, and you guys, talk and stuff every once in a while, but you guys don't really interact a lot. And it seems like no one really interacts with him a lot. You don't really know anything about him. And so everybody that works there you just guys just started calling him Mysterious Chris. You call him Chris to his face. You're not sure if he knows about the nickname.
That sucks.
So you're at
That poor
work.
guy.
Well, he's also a little distant.
Oh, okay.
Like at first you're kind of like, oh, poor guy, but then as you kind of like, I'm gonna try to get to know this guy because it seems like
Yeah.
no one else who works here has even tried to make an effort doing this. And
Yeah.
so you like one day you guys were like taking a break while on the job, and you just go like, so Chris, where are you from? What brought you to Los Angeles? And he's like smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
and he just kind of like looks into the horizon, and he's like, where am I from? What brought me here? He blows out 7 perfect
I don't
rings
fucking
of
need
smoke.
this. I don't fucking need this shit. Stay
What do you
distant,
mean?
stay close.
Yeah. So he's like, he's kind of a mysterious guy. So you're at work that day.
Fuck this guy. You know, I
Oh,
felt bad for him. If that's what he's gonna, if he's gonna pull that shit, fuck him.
so you're at lunch one day while you're, stunting. You call it stunting on him. So you're stunting on him and
Oh no.
you're like, you know what? You're trying to be, healthy, You try
Sure.
not to, trying to eat healthy. Luckily, the craft service table that's provided is impeccable. Absolutely impeccable. And they have like a whole salad bar. They call it a salad banquet. There's so many different types there. Lettuce that you haven't even seen before, you know? So you make yourself a nice, what you've been calling your carrot salad, aka Aaron's carrot surprise.
I'm not a big carrot guy.
Well, you also used to not be a big stuntman guy, and now look at you.
So, what did I get a fucking fortune cookie that told me to eat carrots, Aaron?
No, but the next time that you went back to the China Zone, it was like boarded up and just gone.
Great.
And like you kind of like were like, what the hell? And you kind of like walked up to the shuttered, you know, restaurant, and you kind of like you're like there's one window that's like cracked, so you're kind of like looking through it to kind of see, and there's just nothing in there. You
Why would I
turn
do that?
because you're like, I was just here a second ago. Like, what the hell happened? And then you turn and there's like this guy standing there, and you're like, what happened here? And he's like, I don't know. I think they moved down the rod, the bad rod.
What the fuck is this guy's deal? Why does he talk like this? Why do I just assume this guy's gonna know what happened to the China Zone, which sounds like a Tucker Carlson book about the economy? What the fuck is this?
He's
Strange
like,
man just knows.
yeah, it's like Pet Cemetery.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, he knows because he's the caretaker of the strip mall.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he's like
He's the caretaker of the strip mall.
he's like a long time ago there were a lot of different restaurants here, all over this rod. Chinese, Japanese,
Oh,
Mexican, Italian. He looks at you and he goes, "There's something bad growing here, Aaron." And you just kind of like go, okay, and you just like leave this empty strip mall and drive away. But you're into carrots because, in the spirit of becoming a stuntman, you're like, maybe I need to try other new things. And, it's going okay. You're not like necessarily like a huge carrot guy, but this is, this is day one of your new carrot diet. It's not entirely carrot. It's just, Aaron's, carrot surprise. So you go to
this
craft
sucks.
service and you get like, they're like, these carrots are so bright almost. They're so orange that they're like shining almost. And you look at it and you're like, whoa. And so you get a bunch of carrots, sit down, put a little bit of salt and pepper on it, Not a lot, just enough so that you know it's there. And you chow down on some fucking carrots. And I gotta be honest with you, these are the best carrots that you've ever had in your fucking life. They're sweet, they're tender, the perfect level of moist. They crunch underneath in between those teeth of yours. They crunch, but they give very easily, almost like sensuously.
Almost like they're
So
not cooked correctly. If they're tender, but they still have a crunch.
yeah, tender with a crunch. And you eat like all the carrots that are on like craft service. You just couldn't help yourself. They were so good. The craft service like head walks by and they're like, where the hell where did all the carrots go? And he looks up and he sees like outside in like the field that you guys are like shooting in. He sees like a rabbit there looking at him, and he's like, "You son of a bitch!" And just like runs after him. And you're like, "I am getting out of here."
This guy thinks a wild rabbit came and ate a tray full of craft services carrots
Yeah,
to the
that was a
and he's so upset by it that he sprints out after him to chase down a wild rabbit.
and he is holding a butcher's knife. So
Ridiculous.
you're like saved by the bell. So you go home and you go to bed. You dream of a howling void, and you wake up. You
Great.
kind of stretch, jump out of bed. It's your day off. You go to brush those chompers of yours, and you look up at yourself in the reflection, and you now have like large bunny ears.
What the fuck, Pat? Are you kidding me? I grow rabbit ears.
Yeah, you have rabbit ears, and you're like, what the fuck?
This fucking sucks. What the they're like furry or are they like covered in flesh or hair? Like what
They're
are they
furry
are they
white.
human
No, they're furry white, like rabbit ears that go like very high up.
and they're just
And
both
you're,
at attention?
yep.
That
And
sucks.
you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then for a second, you're like, not sure what to do. And then suddenly, completely out of nowhere, you have, I guess, what could only be described as like a vision of an older woman. She is taking a tray of like cookies out of the oven. She puts it on a table, and she's like, you hear her go, now Betty Lou, these are too hot to eat right now. And you hear like, oh, but I want to eat the cookies, Grandma. And then she kind of goes, yeah, but I can't give them to you anyway because you're gonna have dinner soon. And then the old lady like winks at like you in the vision and like slides a cookie over to you. You take a bite. You kind of snap back and you're like, what the hell? That was weird.
Yeah.
And
It's a piping hot cookie. You got to let it set up first. You got to give it 5, 10 minutes.
you go into
What
the kitchen and you kind of sit down and you're like, you kind of try to like shake it off and you're like, what is even going on? And then
Yeah, I have
basically
ears.
throughout the day, you are picking up these like visions. It's almost like you can hear things,
Great. I'm
and
just
that's
fucking
what's bringing them.
hallucinating in my home.
By the end of the day, you kind of like have figured out what the deal is. These rabbit ears are allowing you to pick up other people's forgotten memories.
What the fuck do you mean? Allows me to pick up other people's forgotten memories.
So what it is it's almost like they work as a like a conductor or something, and they're able to, because of how intense your bunny ears are and how strong they are, you can actually hear the memories from people as they're, fading away. Memories that later on they're like, wait, when was the last time I saw grandma? Like I feel like we were doing something. So
That
you
sucks. And I just experienced these memories.
yeah. So you
This
start
sucks.
you
This
start your own
fucking
business.
sucks.
You start your own
What the fuck?
business.
How am I'm gonna monetize this?
Yeah.
Man, I have two fucking huge rabbit ears.
Right.
How am I gonna? be around anyone with that.
So you sell the memories back to the people.
You fucking kidding me?
You make a like you make an ad
Wouldn't they
for it.
go? Wouldn't I say like, "Hey, here's a memory of you and your grandmother," and they would go, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Hey, can I have $20 for that memory?" Fuck you. You just gave
So
it back to me for free.
so you
How am
make
I gonna?
an ad for it.
God,
You make a video for it where it's you with the rabbit ears and you have like a big carrot and you go like and you go what's up, doc? Chomp 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 chomp. You chomp it the whole thing down like very very quickly and then you
there's no
go
way I'm not getting sued for that.
and you go, "Hey, ever miss that treasured memory? Ever wonder where it went? Hi, I'm Aaron Brooks, and you might know me as Bunnyman Brooks, and I
God,
am here to tell you about my forgotten memory sale service." And so, if you suspect that like there's a memory of yours that you've lost, maybe it's something that you've picked up on, and so that you invite them to come over and they describe the memory. You kind of like listen,
how do
and
they
then you
not?
can
And how do they have a memory of this memory, but they don't know what it is?
they only have vague details. And so they'll be like, "Hey, like, you know, what was my high school graduation like? I don't remember it." You just like sit there and you like concentrate really heavily and as those bunny ears pick up and perk up and they face like different directions.
They're
And
they're like
not
triangulating this
yeah,
memory. Jesus
and
Christ,
you
Matt.
see it and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I see it." And, you know, after that, you sell it back to her. And depending upon what the memory is there's like a sliding scale. So if it's like the last time that you saw a parent or a grandparent or a loved one, that those are what you call the fat stacks because
Oh
that's the one that you
God.
charge the most for.
How much am I charging somebody the last memory they have with their parent?
Uh,
Jesus
it it
Christ.
starts at $3,000.
What? Holy shit. What a
Yeah.
scumbag I've become.
Well, I mean,
Three.
in your defense, it's not like you can remember these things and like it takes some energy on your part to do. It's not like you're not doing nothing. You have to like concentrate, pretty intensely. You have to make sure you get at least, 6 hours of sleep and you're able to do it. And you're like, this does take a lot out of me.
3 grand.
Well, that's for that one. There's other ones where it's like, oh, I want to remember um the very first time that I ate ravioli. And you're
Who
like,
wouldn't?
oh, and you're like, okay. And you're like, okay, that'll be, $17. Someone like that is very easy for you to do.
So the slide of the scale is all relative to the emotional impact of the memory that I'm retrieving.
Yeah. One day, you're sitting in your office and this guy comes in, uh, and he has a very unique proposal for you. He's like, hello, Aaron. My name is Dr. Von Stockingsworth. He has a doctorate in in medicine, philosophy, mathematics, biology. Like he's a, you know,
Very educated man.
yeah,
Von Stockingsworth. Is that his
doctor.
first name? Is his first name Von or is it
No, his last
Von
name is Von Stock.
Stockingsworth?
Von Stockingsworth is his last name. His first name is Edwin. So
A lot of terrible names in this episode.
You think so?
Yeah.
So he comes
D
in
D
and
Blaze and Hank. Yeah.
Hank Tank. So
The Tank Twins.
and you kind of like
Charles
have like
Invictus
a
Chargington.
you kind of like for some reason when this guy comes in, you kind of have like not a flashback to your days as a stuntman, but you kind of just have like a few pleasant memories kind of ring across your fucking brain for just a moment. But the doctor, he's looking at you and he proposes to you that he wants the memory of being born. He's like, I know that that might be a bit of a strain on you, but I am willing to offer you $10,000 and a $50 gift card to the Darden Family Restaurant Group. Do you do it?
Man, see, that feels like an invasion of privacy with his mother, to
Yeah.
see him being born, his moment of birth.
Yeah, but he's like an older guy, he's like, oh, he goes, my mother is, long dead.
Yeah, it just still seems weird that I'm gonna be seeing his mother's body in that way, you
Sure.
know?
He looks at you and he goes, 15 then.
Also, like, this has to exist as a memory. We don't have memories of us being born,
Well, we know because we forgot them.
but it like biologically, is that how that works? I don't know. I mean, look,
Well, that's
15,
the thing.
15
You got to
grand.
figure it out. Yeah. He's like,
Fine, I'll give it a shot.
you've never tried to do it before, you know?
Yeah, fine. I'll try.
So you like sit down and you concentrate like very, very intently.
Like I'm seeing the moment of his birth is what he wants, or is it just like
Yeah.
the general what the room was like?
Yeah. Like everything.
What does he want? Oh,
Aaron,
everything.
everything. The gift card amount also has gone up to 75.
Man,
So,
I could really go all out.
yep. So, especially now that the Darden Family Restaurant Group, they're now doing a concept where it's like all the restaurants, everything's available in one building,
Like a KFC Taco Bell situation, but their entire roster.
their entire roster. And in the
Damn.
commercials for it, they're like, Darden Family. Ba, 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 ba. I got all my sisters with me and also all
Hey,
restaurants. Darden Family.
hey.
Come out and eat with us. Yeah. Yeah. So you kind of like eye that gift card and you just kind of like sigh and you're like, I'll do it. So you sit down and you close your eyes, you concentrate really, really intensely. And the memory of it essentially is he's not you're not able to access anything until the child is actually out of out of the mother. So
Okay.
you kind of like flashback, like you're seeing this in the memory, in your head rather. You're seeing like what looks to be a giant holding you. He's got like an old school doctor stethoscope and like that thing that they would put that band with the
Yeah, yeah.
that
Yeah,
silver
that
thing
fucking
for some
mirrored
reason.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. He's wearing that and like he looks down and he says, "Congratulations. It's a boy." And then the doctor looks down at you and like he winks and he goes, "And maybe something else." Hi, Aaron. You kind of like snap back and you're like, All right, well, that was weird. And so the doctor's like standing there. It's like at this point, it's like 7 hours later, and you kind of just like he's like, well, what happened? And you go, well, it's better I can show you. And you do this thing that you do where your bunny ears, the tips of your bunny ears touch the ears of the person, and he
What
kind of
the
has like a
fuck?
yeah. And like every time you do it, the people, their eyes like kind of like flash purple for just a second. And he kind of
This is
goes
a
like,
whole new level. This is I
what?
really don't like this. It's one thing to recall their memory and explain it back to them, but now I'm like showing them a fucking vision. What is
Yeah.
going on?
So he kind of like his eyes flash purple and he's like, oh my gosh, Aaron. And he's like, he looks at you and he goes, thank you. And he's like, and you like walk him outside because you kind of see that he's like, kind of like dazed a little bit. You walk him outside and like a taxi cab pulls up right as you guys walk outside. Like it's instantaneous. When you guys walk out, by the time that you guys get to the street curb, the door's already like open and he's like sliding in. Like he does not break stride. And he looks at you and he goes, this is going to change everything, Aaron. And you're like, I guess. You turn around and you are like, Darden fucking family. Let's go. You walk up the stairs to the your office. You reach the top of the stairs and then you slip on a banana peel that was lying
Great. Are
there.
you fucking kidding me?
And you look at the banana and you go, whoa, whoa. And as you slip backwards, you look and on the banana peel, it's like someone wrote on it in markers, compliments of the doctor. You fall
What the
backwards
fuck?
and you hit every single stair.
Great.
There's 46 in total.
This fucking sucks. This whole thing is fucking sucked.
Hit the bottom.
Yeah.
And like you're kind of like there, like twitching, you know what I mean? Like just every
Yeah.
bone is
Twitching.
broken. Yeah.
Great.
And the last thing that you see is you kind of like see something in the distance getting like larger, and it's actually the banana peel from the top, and it just lands on your face, over covers your eyes, and then you die.
Great. Are you fucking kidding me? How disrespectful.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean, Pat. What I tumble backwards down four fucking flights of stairs to my death, and then the banana
Yeah.
peel that I slipped on somehow is launched and lands on my dying face.
I guess I could see why that would be considered.
Yeah, it sucks.